StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल.
Welcome to StudyIQ's initiative, the podcast. In the last episode of the podcast, we had discussed about Rajya Sabha, and in today's episode, we are going to understand about parliamentary committees. Sir, can you give us some information about historical background related to committees?
Before we start, I want to tell you something, that this is not an advertisement. However, it is a global vision of StudyIQ to provide most affordable and effective education. In our Prelims to Interview program, that is P2I program, you will be accompanied by the best faculties of the field, and you will also receive the one-to-one mentorship in this program. Moreover, you will receive prelims as well as mains test series according to UPSC syllabus. So, for huge discount, you can use my code AVLIVE. All the links are pinned in the comment section.
If we will track down to the history of parliamentary committees, the system of parliamentary committees can be tracked back in the Government of India Act 1919. In the post-independence period, they are mentioned in various rules of the houses. Rule of the House, example, PAC, Estimates Committee, Committee on PSUs, all are mentioned in Rule of House. Even the Constitution of India under Article 344 have mentions of the committee. Various statute and laws also mentions the Joint Committee on Salary Allowances of MPs. Through adoption of motion and resolution, the Select Committee can be found in the historical background.
Sir, can you throw some light on relevance of these committees?
The parliamentary committees are useful in dealings with technical aspects of any bill or legislation which is introduced in the House. Parliamentary committees also help in utilizing the limited parliamentary time for other important works so that these committees can assess the bill and legislations which are put in front of the houses. Parliamentary committee also upholds the principle of accountability of executive towards legislature. Parliament is assisted by a number of committees in the discharge of their duties. It ensures the detailed scrutiny and it upholds the government accountability. Committees also aid the opposition to play a very greater role in exercising control over the executive. It also engages the relevant stakeholders in the legislation process. Parliamentary committee also ensures the financial prudence.
Sir, now we want to understand the conditions which are related to formation of these committees.
Committees are appointed or elected by the houses or nominated by the Speaker or Chairman of the House. It works under the direction of the Speaker or the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Committees also presents its report to the House or to the Speaker or Chairman. The consultative committees consist of members of Parliament is not parliamentary committees as they do not fulfill above four conditions. Committees has a secretariat provided by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Sir, can you enlighten us on different types of parliamentary committees?
There are broadly two types of committees. One is standing committee and another is ad hoc committee. Standing committee is basically a type of permanent body in nature, which is constituted every year and which work on a continuous basis. However, the other side of the ad hoc committee, which is in temporary nature, and by case, a particular issue involved with those committees, if they resolve that, and ad hoc committees cease to exist on completion of the task assigned to them.
Sir, from our exam perspective, Public Accounts Committee is considered as one of the most important parliamentary committees. So can you give us some information related to PAC?
Public Account Committee first set up in 1921 under the provisions of Government of India Act 1919. In 1921, PAC was headed by the Finance Minister. Presently, the PAC consists of 22 members, wherein Lok Sabha have 15 members in it and Rajya Sabha have 7 in it. Since 1967, a convention has developed whereby the chairman of the committee is selected invariably from the opposition. Election of PAC is done every year by the Parliament from amongst its members according to the principle of proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. It ensures that all parties get due representation in the PAC. The term of the members is 1 year as the PACs. A minister cannot be elected as a member of the committee of PAC, and the chairperson is appointed from amongst its members by the Speaker itself.
Sir, what are the functions of Public Accounts Committee?
The functions of Public Account Committee is that they examine the annual audit report of the CAG, which are laid before the Parliament by the President. The CAG basically submits 3 reports where the PSC audits it. Number 1 report is audit report on appropriation account. Number 2 is audit report on finance account. Number 3 is audit report on public undertaking. It also examines the public expenditure, also from the point of view of economy, prudence, wisdom, and propriety. PSC is assisted by CAG, and the CAG acts as a guide, friend, and philosopher for Public Accounts Committee. Public Accounts Committee is also to examine the appropriation accounts and the finance accounts of the Union government and any other accounts led before the Lok Sabha. PSC also examines the account of state corporations, trading concerns, and manufacturing projects and the audit report of the CAG on them. PSC also examines the account of autonomous and semi-autonomous bodies and the audit of which is conducted by CAG. PSC also examines the money spent on any service during a financial year in excess of the amount granted by the Lok Sabha.
Sir, now we want you to describe the other side of the coin, that is, limitations of Public Accounts Committee.
Public Accounts Committee is not concerned with the questions of policy in a broader sense, whereas it analyzes the micro reports of the CAG. It conducts a post-mortem examination of accounts. That means the budget is presented to the Lok Sabha and Member of Parliament have voted on the budget, and after that PSC comes into the picture and then it examines the various reports. However, this is called the post-mortem examination, which will not lead concretization of the opposition to oppose the budget. It cannot intervene in the matters of day-to-day administration. Its recommendations are only advisory in nature and they are not binding on ministers, and it is not vested with the power of disallowance of expenditures by the departments. Even that, PSC is not an executive body and hence it cannot issue an order against any ministry or department.
Sir, the next important parliamentary committee is Estimates Committee. So how can we understand it in simple words?
The origin of Estimate Committee can be traced to the Standing Financial Committee set up in 1921. The first Estimate Committee constituted in 1950 on the recommendation of John Mathai, the then Finance Minister. All the 30 members of Estimates Committee are from the Lok Sabha only. The Rajya Sabha has no representation in the Estimates Committee. Estimate Committee elected every year by the Lok Sabha from amongst its members according to the principle of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. It ensures that all parties get due representation in it. The term of office of the members and the committee is 1 year. A minister cannot be elected as a member of the committee, and chairman of the committee is appointed from the amongst its members by the speaker, and he is invariably from the ruling party.
Sir, can you elucidate some functions of Estimates Committee?
Estimates Committee examines the estimates included in the budget and suggested economies in the public expenditure. Estimate Committee also reports and recommends the economies, improvements in the organization, efficiency and administrative reforms aligning with the policies. Estimate Committee also suggests alternative policies in order to bring out efficiency and economy in administration. Estimate Committee also examines whether the money is well led out within the limits of the policy implied in the estimates. It also suggests the form in which the estimates are to be presented to the Parliament. Estimates Committee may continue the examination of the estimates from time to time throughout the financial year and report to the House as its examination proceeds. It shall not be incumbent on the committee to examine the entire estimates of any 1 year. The demands for the grants may be finally voted despite the fact that the committee has made no report.
Sir, can you indicate some limitations of Estimates Committee?
Estimates Committee examines the budget estimates only after they have been voted by the Parliament and not before that. It cannot question the policy laid down by the Parliament, and Estimate Committee's recommendations are also in advisory in nature and not binding on the ministry. It examines every year only certain selected ministries and not all the ministries and departments. Estimate Committee lacks the expert assistance of the CAG which is available to the PSC. It works in the nature of post-mortem.
Sir, thank you for your information. dear listeners, it is time to conclude this episode of the podcast. In the next episode, we will continue our discussion in parliamentary committees. So stay connected with StudyIQ and keep studying. You can listen to StudyIQ Presents the podcast on all the audio streaming platforms like Spotify, Hubhopper, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, etc. Links are pinned in the comment section below. Thank you.